Hey guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. I'm Gugu and I'm here with the love of my life,
Kearabilwe,
and we are
your favorite queer couple.
So today we are doing a video on our first big failure. Obviously different failures because we live different lives. So this video was inspired by one of my friends contacted me and they failed GDA or CTA. It's like something you do when you're studying accounting. It's like a, what is it? Postgraduate degree that you do after obviously undergrad. And she failed it and she was contacting me, and I think a part of why she was contacting me was because I failed the same thing in 2019. So I did GDA or CTA for the first time. I'm gonna call it GDA from now on. GDA for the first time in 2019, and then I repeated it in 2020 and passed it, and yes. And then, so she was doing GDA with me in 2020 for the first time, and then she failed GDA and she's repeating it this year.
Yeah.
So that's what this video is inspired by, because when I was talking to her, I felt like, oh, we should really do a video about this because we've both been through it, and it's just been something I've been wanting to talk about because I think it's necessary to talk about because a lot of us go through it, and it's not something that a lot of people talk about because obviously it's just there's a lot of embarrassment and shame that comes with failing that, like, obviously no one wants to talk about it while they're going through it or when they go through it or whatever. So but I just felt like it's really something important to talk about in terms of like helping people that are going through it and are going to go through it. And obviously we're talking about our first failures, and it's not going to be our only failure in life, and you just have to, I think, like, there's a lot to learn from your first big failure because you can then use those lessons for your other failures. Because I just feel like failure is a really, like, it's something that can consume you and just, it's a lot. So when I was sending this message to her that I'm going to read out, I just found it really therapeutic, and like I found so much healing from it. And I also felt like I was writing that same message to the past me that was going through it and was so scared and was so like just consumed and lost. And I know that she would have needed that message, like the past me would have needed that message. And so when I was typing it to her, I just felt like I don't know, like some sense of healing. And I don't know, it just made me like feel like whew, like I'm so glad that I get to tell her this, and I'm so glad she has someone that she saw go through it, and now she can like contact them and not feel shame, because it's so much easier to contact someone who also failed that same thing, because it's like they can't judge me, like they literally failed it as well. And I don't know if I had no, all the people that I used to get advice from in terms of GDA, like your friend who did it and like my friends who did it, none of them had failed. They had passed the first time. So even when I was getting advice from them while I was doing GDA, you know, it was fine, obviously. But after I failed it, it just felt difficult to go back to those same people and ask them for advice, because it's just like, you didn't fail it. Like, so I'm just gonna say how this video is gonna go. I'm gonna read out the message, and then afterwards I'm just gonna ask her a few questions on her first big failure as well.
And I think just from my side to add on to Gugu is to say, like, you know, in some of these professions that as black people, and I want to be very specific, as black people and then people of color, that we are only tapping into and getting into right now. Some of us will be the first generations and stuff like that. People don't talk about it, you know, just because you're the first person or whatever. Now you're going to study accounting at UCT, you're already expected to excel, and you don't have anyone like there are not a lot of YouTube videos that people come, hey guys, so I
I
did
just failed
my GDA
yesterday.
and I failed yesterday. Like
No.
you don't have that reference point. I think that's
Yeah.
also something that we'd like to achieve with this video.
Yeah.
Giving anyone a reference point at any, and with also hopefully within our 2 degrees, because we study different things.
Different things, yeah.
But things that are very common also within the commerce and the business side in South Africa, and I do believe other countries as well.
Yeah.
So we hope that you guys can enjoy, and as always, put your comments down below if you failed, anything that you would have liked to know, anything that you would like to tell someone who could possibly go through it and is going through it, because 2020 was a lot, so we don't know what the students and other people that are studying, people are finding themselves repeating right now.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay.
Cool. Yes.
I'm gonna read the message that I sent to her.
Yes.
Okay. So let me start.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry you're going through this, and I'm here for you every step of the way. If you ever need to talk, don't hesitate to reach to me. I absolutely understand what you're going through. Your feelings are valid and they're okay to feel. Feel them, but don't let them consume you. You are enough always. GDA is not a reflection of you. It's not a reflection of your entire life. You are so whole and capable and are so much more than this thing. This is just something you want to pass so you can get to the next stage of your life. The anxiety is real. It's going to happen a lot, but take it one day at a time, literally. If a day is too much, take it 1 hour at a time, one lecture at a time, one tat at a time. You're going to have times where you feel alone in this journey. You're not. You have your person, your family, all rooting for you in spirit, even though they are not physically with you every step of the way. Just write down for yourself what you want to do differently this year. Also understand that you did GDA during a pandemic and everything was different and online, so don't be hard on yourself. Even without a pandemic, GDA is tough, so don't be hard on yourself. A lot of it will feel like revision because you've done it before. Take advantage of that. That will save you time and you'll be able to jump into exam technique for all those sections. A lot of it will also feel new to you and that can be frustrating, but don't be hard on yourself. It's normal. It's been a while since you did them. In those moments, just breathe and take the opportunity to relearn those sections properly this time. Lastly, please note that GDA is not about how smart you are. You are already smart. This is a fact. GDA is about scoring marks and that's passing. Always remember that and always do what will make you score the most marks. Sending you so much love, so much gentle love and hugs. I hope this helps. So yeah, that was the message I sent to her. I think for me what was important, and I didn't hear it. I think my dad did tell me this though. Was like, he was literally like, it's not the end of the world. And like I just started bawling and crying after hearing that, because to me it was in that moment, and it was, I think, very healing to hear someone say it's not, and the person paying my fees saying it's not the end of the world. So it was like, damn, like I've made this thing my world, and my world is crumbling and falling apart, and it's not my world. Like, ooh, like like this is not my entire world. I am more than this. I am so whole and capable outside of this thing. So I'm not gonna let it consume me just because I failed it, you know? And it's hard to get there. Obviously, it's not easy, but when you get there, it's so freeing.
Yeah, it's liberating.
It's so freeing. I'm gonna start by asking, how did you view failure before your first big failure? When you were still that overachiever, honey, who was getting them 90s, honey, was getting into UCT, was proud of yourself, was like, I'm studying XI, I'm gonna do this thing, you know?
Yes. Okay, I think let me just start by giving an academic and quite professional view of myself, which I've never done on this channel actually. Yeah. So my name is Kearabilwe.
Oh, not my name.
Yeah, my name is Kearabilwe. I went to high school in Witbank, and then I studied at UCT, and I particularly studied. I did a BCom, or when I left, I had a BCom in actuarial science, and then I also had an honors in actuarial science.
Yeah,
but initially when I got in, the plan was to do a B.Buzz.Sci in actuarial science.
Please say the whole thing for people who don't know.
It's a business science.
Bachelor in business science.
Yeah, you see, the fact that I didn't even know what the first B stands for. But yeah, so coming into it straight from high school, I got all the exemptions except for English, and I did an extra subject. So you can
got
count.
all the distinctions.
But
they're not called the exemptions in high school.
So I was very chuffed and happy with myself. I was the dark scholar at my school.
Yes.
Shout out to an Afrikaans school, so I was the first black.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, my name is.
It's
there.
such a great feeling when you're the first black, because you just feel
Yes.
like all your ancestors
Like,
are sitting
I'm
on your shoulders,
literally,
and you're just making them proud.
Yes,
but it's
also-
also sad to hear, because it's like, why am I the
Yes,
first black?
yeah.
But at the same time, it's like,
Yeah.
I'm proud of me. Well
And
done.
I think but just being the first black, you always hope that you're not the last one.
True.
So yeah.
No, you're the first, but not the last.
Yeah,
Always
definitely,
remember, yes, there will be
definitely.
more.
There has to be more. I
Yeah.
always say that. So coming in to answer Gugu's question, failure had never been a thing for me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just academically, be it sports wise. I played hockey. I made provincial hockey throughout my high school. I played South African hockey when I was under 16.
You were an
Killed it.
overachiever, basically.
Literally
Doing
like,
too much, doing
I
the
was the
most.
girl that people didn't like in my school, because when it's sports day, I'm there. When it's
I was the people that was hating on people that get cultural, sports, and academic awards. What are you doing? Choose one. That's all.
Yeah.
All of us must get awards.
And I think I was one of those people who were like, just work hard.
Yeah.
I think before failure, I didn't recognize.
You thought if put in hard work,
Yes.
get the
That
results.
was
This
it.
much hard work
Yeah.
equals this much
Literally,
results. Yeah.
that was me.
Yeah.
I
Such a black and white view.
Yes, I had a very
of
black and
achievements,
white
for
view
sure.
of achievements, because
Yeah.
that's what I came in. One thing when I failed, sorry, I know we're jumping.
No, it's fine.
That clicked was certain things came easy to me, and I didn't appreciate that in high school.
Yeah. Took shit for granted.
Yeah.
Sorry. Took things for
Yes.
granted.
And you know what I mean? And at certain points in our lives, certain things don't come easy. And for
Yeah.
some people, that was high school. And for
And
some of
yes.
us, that's varsity. So I
Yeah.
think that's the one thing that clicked, because childhood, but varsity.
Can I tell you
wasn't,
something
yeah.
also? One thing failure will teach you is never to judge people when they're struggling with something, because you know how that
Yeah,
feels.
yeah.
So the next question is,
Yeah.
how did your first failure happen? So like, what happened?
Yes.
What did you fail?
Okay. So I failed in 2017. Second semester. It's a course called contingencies. And I failed literally in the final year of BCom. So what happened was that I got to UCT in 2014, and then from the get-go, I extended my degree. So a B.Buzz.Sci in XI, that's the degree, that's like how people call it, that usually takes 4 years.
Yep.
So I immediately, from my first year, extended it to 5 years.
Yep.
So that's the plan, that I'll be at UCT for 5 years and leave with this degree. And then I failed in my 4th year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So second to last year.
Yes, because this year's the year that you do your honors with a B.Buzz.Sci.
Yeah.
So I failed in this year.
Yeah.
And this year, Bazolo. No, already the year was tough, because the previous course, which is models, I literally passed 50% on the dot on
On
that
the
exam.
Doriri.
You remember?
Yes.
So obviously now walking into contingencies,
Confidence is
was
low.
Remember I used to tell you,
That's
like,
the thing about academics, like they will bring down your self-esteem to a place you never knew your self-esteem could be at.
And I had a lot of imposter syndrome walking into
Absolutely.
this course. Like I was like, do I deserve to be here?
Absolutely.
I just got 50%. Am I smart enough? Can I make it? So already, like, that was a lot. And honestly, that year was a year of just feeling overwhelmed. Like, I gained a lot of weight as well. I spent so much time in the library. I was just doing a whole lot of things that if you think like, okay, always in the library, always attending lectures, always at a TAT.
On paper.
Honestly,
like
I didn't know what I was doing. So that's when I failed contingencies. I literally walked out of that exam, and it was also deep in protest. Remember, there was also protests that year. And then I got literally 37 on the transcript.
How did you feel when you walked out of that exam?
I was crushed.
As someone who was an overachiever and was used to feeling like...
And I think I have to point this out, like, my first semester at UCT was tough, and I was very happy that I extended my degree. And let me be very honest, like, when I extended my degree, things were good. Like, on my transcript still, there's like 70s, a few 80s here. So already even, it was good. Like 2014, 15, 16, good years. And then 2017 went low. And when I walked out of that exam, I think I was proud of myself because my failure wasn't a shock. I think I always say that when failure is a shock,
it hits different kind of failure.
Yeah, mine was a lot of disappointment, a lot of...
Because when you walked out, you were like, I failed. So when it was confirmed, it wasn't like a shock.
It wasn't a shock, but it was what happened when like the results came out was a lot of embarrassment, because even though I knew I had failed, what hit me was I'm the only one within my friends and within that class.
That's the thing about failure. You feel alone. That's like one thing I can say about failure, it's lonely.
Yeah.
lonely.
Yeah. And that made me feel stupid.
Wow.
Because I was the one out of my friends in the squad that failed. And I think I didn't give myself the grace that I had given my other friends who in the previous years, even though we all did X, I failed. I never thought, oh, so-and-so is dumb because they failed and we're going on. But as soon as that happened, I bashed myself like, come on, dude, what's happening? What, you're not as smart as so-and-so. Look, they made it.
Yeah.
That was mean.
That was deep. Like you're so unkind. You were so unkind to yourself. I think one thing that failure taught me, something that I'm grateful for, is that it taught me not to attach my self-worth to achievements.
Yeah.
Because for the longest time, that is how I attached myself. Like, that's what I attached my self-worth to.
Yeah.
Because I was always someone who everyone would just marvel at, like, oh, your work ethic is so great. And
work ethic for me.
It's a work ethic for me. Like, your work ethic is great. Like, you know, when even your friends are complimenting you on, like, they'll be like, oh, I feel like I love that your work ethic is so great. My academics are always like, I always had my life together.
When you're the friend that people come to ask questions.
Yeah. Was I? I mean, like I just always had my life together. Even in the seasons where maybe I would be struggling with something, I could always get myself through it.
At the end of the day, I'm passing the exam.
Exactly. Like, I could struggle with concepts, but then be able to teach myself or get myself through it, or you know what I mean. Like, eventually the result is that I'm gonna pass and get through to the next level, no matter what's going on in between. But it got to a year in 2019 where I couldn't save myself from that. I couldn't teach or I couldn't get myself out of that. Like, and
I think
get to the end results that I needed.
Too many things that needed you to save yourself out of.
Everything was falling apart.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. Like, we didn't recognize that how easy things came to our brains, to our understanding.
That maybe you're struggling with one concept or one course.
Yes.
Whereas with GDA, it's 4 courses. Honey, I wasn't struggling with all of them, but they were all a lot of work. It was all overwhelming. They were all like, they're just throwing stuff at you.
Basically.
I can't.
Literally.
So it was just I think it taught me that, like, genuinely now I do not attach my self-worth to achievements. Or like it's about, if I feel like I've worked hard I've done my best. There are even days where mentally I can't do my best or give my best. There are days where I wake up and I'm so low and I have so much anxiety that literally me getting out of bed, brushing my teeth, washing my face,
top tier.
Opening the laptop or opening that book, doing what I can for the day is the achievement and the best that I can do, which is doing the most, being so productive, getting good marks or getting the work done in the best way. And I don't achieve that. I don't then look down on myself and I'm like, ooh, you are not the best version of yourself. You are not doing enough. I don't do that anymore.
Be the best version.
That is not
that is toxic.
Yeah, like that is not.
Yeah, just the word best.
Yeah, like now I attach my self-worth to how kind I am to myself. How much love I give to the people that I love and I'm close to, how my relationships are going with other people and myself. I genuinely it's really not the achievements anymore. And I know that the achievements are important and they affect our standard of living. It's like, obviously, if you don't do a good job and then your boss fires you, now you're not living the way you wanted to live. But like, that's literally what I see it for now. I see work for what it is. I'm doing this so that I can get money, so that I can be able to give myself the experiences that I want to give or live a certain life. But it's like, I'm not attaching it to who this person is, because it's not linked. I'm sorry to tell you that it's not linked for me. So and I think that's what failure had to teach me, because before that it hadn't clicked here. Khuri, stop attaching these things to your worth. Stop saying just because it took me longer to get this degree, it took me 2 years, other people it took 1, that somehow the calculations and the mathematics equals my self-worth is lower than theirs. No,
because I think that was for me when I failed. Another sad and difficult thing to accept, like already I had said, okay, I'm gonna be at UCT at 5, and already that was longer than what the world had said and UCT itself. And then I think the biggest decision was saying, Kearabilwe, are you still gonna get your honors? Because if you're gonna get your honors, it means you're gonna be here for 6 years. And I think looking back today, 2021, on this day, I am so grateful that I stayed for that extra year and did my 6 years. And I got my honors. Like, because honestly, like from that perspective, a year is not that long. Like, I know sometimes when you fail, then people are like, but a year is not that long. You're like, I don't want to
punch them.
But when I look back now,
with hindsight,
honestly, yes, it wasn't that long. And an academic year isn't a full 12 months. It's usually like 9. And that, gave me.
It's genuinely also like Abantu was a teen. Like, don't care that people will be like, oh my god, you've done this degree in 10 years. You should have done it in 3. Like, no, it's like, if you've set it in your heart, you're like, I really just want to get this thing, and because of so and so reasons, then do it for you.
Literally, because I think that's the thing where I had to sit down and be like, why do I want to do this honors? Like, that's a thing that I had to sit down with. And be like, why is honors important to me? And that helped me to get into honors and stay focused in my honors as well.
Do you know what I just realized that's really like, I don't know if it's ironic or like a coincidence or whatever, but you and I, the plan was to be at varsity for 5 years, because my degree was a business science in majoring in finance and accounting, and then afterwards the plan was to do a 1 year in GDA, therefore being 5 years. And then because I failed GDA, I was at varsity for 6 years. So
both of us,
we literally have the same story.
Literally.
So the next question is like, how did you feel during your failure? So and also just like its effects on you, failure's effects on you.
That year wasn't the nice. I think first semester wasn't the greatest.
Hits you like a ton of bricks.
Yeah, it hits you like a ton of bricks. But apart from that, I think certain people who hadn't failed before, still in my degree, you could see that weren't my friends, that weren't in my intimate space. You could see the looks, you know what I mean? So I had to.
One thing I don't like is the pity look.
Yes, or the pity look.
You can see it.
Yes, so I had to wake up every day and not, like, there were some times when I would go to the library or I'd go to upper campus and honestly hope and pray that I don't bump into anyone.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So that was the
a lot
first
of anxiety.
thing. Yeah, I didn't want to bump into people that I know. I just want to be on campus. I just want to do whatever. But I think number 2 was my one of my closest friends.
Yeah.
So we both failed contingencies. But I remember I said I got 37. I think she got like 40 something, like high 40, so she could have passed. So then they allowed her to do her honors.
Is it like a concession?
Yes, a concession. So they allowed her to do honors. So I had to allow myself to be happy for her, but still be sad for myself.
It's such a tough thing. And to be quite honest, in those situations, I always choose just to be sad for me. Like sometimes I don't have the capacity to be happy for you.
Yeah.
What I'm gonna put my efforts in is not being envious of you or sending you negative energy. But what I'm not gonna do is be like, yay, let's throw a party for you. No.
Yeah. So I think that was me and her. So I think having her in my space kind of forced me to get over it quicker.
Okay.
I think I would have held on to it longer, because this is someone that I studied with from first year, like day one. So in my head, what it showed me was, if she can do it, I'm also gonna get it.
So she just motivated
she gave me a big motivation. And I think what helped me, and I think this is something that a lot of people who are studying XI, if you fail within your varsity year, was like, I was confused. Like a lot of people, when they fail, they want to prove themselves that they're still smart.
Yeah, because you're trying to feel that, like that feeling of because your self-esteem is low now. You know, you're trying to like
come and
fill it up.
Like I remember, like I was confused. Like December time, I was like, maybe I must do stats honors, because I was already.
Maybe I must change the world.
Yeah, maybe
invent a new program. Start a business.
And I am so grateful for my parents.
Her mom was like,
my
sweetie,
mom. Literally, my mom sat me down, and then she was like, Mimi, because that's what they call me. And no, you're not allowed to call me that. Only them. Literally, I always tell people that. And my mom was like, Mimi, stay focused.
Yeah.
What must you do? What can you do even right now to still achieve that initial goal?
Yeah.
And that literally screwed my head tight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I was like,
because now you're trying to fill up like your plate with other things, and it's like, you failed this thing before, so maybe empty your plate and just focus on it.
And focus on that, and then what can you do? And so that helped me. So within that failure, I wouldn't lie, I stayed in it, but I'm not gonna front to people. Bona, I did not study. That's why I failed. That's honestly why I didn't study. I didn't know what.
I think that's such a good question to ask. Why did you fail?
I didn't know what.
You didn't know the content when you walked into the exam.
I didn't know.
But
what
it's also not like it's not like you didn't study just because you felt like, I don't want to study.
No,
there were
it was
other
difficult.
reasons.
It was
Why did you feel like
it didn't click in my brain? I didn't have enough time to sit and with that textbook and read. You know when you read the English, there was a point when I thought I didn't know English. There was a point where I thought, English and I are not friends, because these courses, they were making me dizzy. I didn't understand what was going on. So that's when I was like, I have to give myself time. I have to give myself time to study.
And in the previous year, in the year that you failed, you didn't have enough time because you had a lot of courses on your plate.
And
but when you did repeat it, you had that one to kind of focus on and make it your baby.
Yeah. And I think that's the best thing I did.
Yeah.
That's the best thing. I gave myself time. I didn't feel the need to prove myself. Now when people are asking you, what? So you failed. What are you doing now? Because that's the question.
I'm doing what I failed before. I'm repeating it. It's called repeating so I can pass it.
Literally, that was me. I was like, no, I'm doing contingencies. I'm doing contingencies again, but I'm doing stats honors. Like,
you don't have to prove yourself to nobody.
And that has helped me.
Yeah.
It helped me a lot because I passed contingencies. And I got 72. Remember I said I got 37. Almost.
Just flip that number.
And I won't lie, like after passing contingencies and when I gave myself time, it brought back the confidence. Like it brought back, like I was like, no, actually I can do this. Yeah, actually I am capable. Actually
you've always been capable.
Yes, but it gets so busy. Like
the
that's what I'm saying.
noise.
It's not about being smart. It gets
Noise.
so busy that your management. Like honestly, I feel like if you pass a degree, we can honestly put project manager on your CV.
Not a project, because a degree is a project.
You balance
A 3 or 4 year project.
You're balancing this. You have it's not like you have just your majors. You have other things.
That's
so
the thing.
You
have a personal life.
Yes.
You are going through life problems. I mean, you know what I mean. Life doesn't pause because you're doing a degree.
I think the only advice I would honestly give to any person that fails within the actuarial science route is question. Do I actually love X? I think it's a nice place to stop and be
sometimes failure is a reroute, and it doesn't mean you must repeat. Sometimes you must leave that thing.
Yeah, sometimes be like, actually, na vele X, I didn't like it.
Sometimes the universe is saying it's not for you.
But if you answer yes to that, stay focused. Stay focused. Like, don't go and like, woo, now you're pulling in maths, now you're pulling in stats, and then what happens? Then you fail that course again that you failed. You know what I mean? And then that like it messes with you again. My only advice is, if you want to do XI, stay focused. Stay focused, or anything that like requires you to now go do professional boards, go do whatever. Like I know the world can seem so busy, like especially in varsity as well. You're going on campus, people are there, people are part of Wine Soc, people are part of Invest Soc, people are starting small businesses, people are doing so much. And know yourself. Me, I knew I couldn't be part of that. I had to hang 10, I had to step back, I had to stop going to a lot of the parties, I had to stop throwing a lot of the parties as well. And that was
I hear what you're saying, but I have a different opinion to that. Like for me in 2019 when I failed, they told us like put a pause on everything, like make GDA your everything, because it's such a stressful year. It honestly is one of the toughest things you will ever do. And I mean, they told us that, and they were like, let your family members know you won't have time for certain things. They need to, the closest people in your life need to know you will not have time for certain things, and pause all those things. Like there would be like short-term sacrifices for long-term goals. Cool. I listened, and I feel like I sacrificed a lot of things in 2019. Like there's just a lot of things I didn't do or attend because obviously I was sacrificing for the long-term goal. And I'm sure there's a balance here, but the problem with that was that like you stop tapping into other parts of yourself. Like I don't know, like you just become this one-dimensional on this thing all the time, and it can exhaust your mind sometimes. Your mind is not as stimulated. I got depressed. I was struggling with like severe anxiety, and I think a part of that is it's just like my life's focus became GDA. And to be quite honest, it's not the most interesting thing in the world, honey. Like imagine that being like your life becomes gray and gloomy, and just the color goes away. And I think that's what happened to me. So I would also like what helped me in 2020 was that I was like, no man, I'm not gonna make GDA my everything. Like there's still gonna be moments of joy that I'm gonna take for myself. I'm still gonna go out with her if I need to. We still went on our birthday weekend away. I still did things that brought color to my life because I was like, that's what also just demotivated me with this thing. And I would have moments where I can't even get out of bed to make myself do this tat because I'm so bored and depressed and just I can't breathe. I feel suffocated in this thing that everyone says I must focus all my attention on it 24/7. All I must do is tats and GDA and lectures, and then the only free time I have, I must just be eating, watching a show while I'm eating, bathing, everything else. If you're chilling, doing nothing or relaxing, why aren't you doing a GDA tat? And it's like, oh, that suffocated my soul. So I think it's also just like, yes, her advice was great, but don't do what I did.
Find your balance, but at the same time there's no balance.
That's the thing. That's the thing about life.
But as you can see, we have the one at the back.
1K subscribers.
We're still celebrating that.
On the way to what?
10,000.
Okay. I was gonna say 2,000 subscribers, but please do what she said and get us to 10,000.
So guys, please like, and then when you comment, tell us, have you failed anything? what was your lesson? If someone was to come and read the comments, what would you like them to know?
Yeah.
Given your experience, and to everyone right now that is repeating something, as Gugu said in that message, 2020, unprecedented times, threw everything off. Be kind to yourself and speak out, guys. People are there. Reach out, and just my last piece of advice.
And also, can I just say one last thing about like failure? Like, as someone, maybe you haven't had your biggest failure or your big failure, or like just maybe your failures are personal and they're not academic. And like in terms of academics, everything's been smooth sailing your whole life, and good for you. Anyway, I just would like to say, like, please be mindful of maybe your comments around your friends, or like just the things you say about failure, because people are listening. And when they do fail, they won't come to you for advice because of the views you have in failure. And just try not to judge people. Like, there's a lot of reasons why people fail.
Literally.
And don't jump to the reason of this person doesn't work hard enough, or this person didn't try hard enough, or they didn't do it. Like, listen, honey, life is tough. There's a lot of reasons. And even the people that failed because they didn't work hard enough also deserve grace.
Literally.
So,
Literally. And I think for me, my last piece of advice, just wrapping it up, and that helped me a lot. And even when my grand passed away in 2019, and it helped me to get through my honors year, was recognizing that my lecturers are human. Because I think throughout my undergrad, I didn't really interact a lot with my lecturers, but
me too.
There's a certain, grace, and like, not grace, obviously they won't give you marks, so that's not what I mean, but talking to them, can really help you, and discussing with them. Like, I know, like, with the Exide department, they had a great psychologist, and that lady really, I went to see her like 3 times throughout my time, and just getting that outside perspective. And this is my mom's advice when I came to UCT. She was like, always speak to people that are relevant. Don't speak to someone off-hating, maybe, and not to be off-hating, and then now they like negative, now they hate XI, now they're always gonna speak negative comments. Like, that person isn't relevant to where you want to go if you still want to pass, So speak to the people that are relevant. Speak to your lecturers. Speak to, your friends that failed and they passed.
Speak to your friends.
Always make sure that you're speaking to relevant people, because that really, what you hear and what you allow into your space,
absolutely,
especially when you're going through that whirlwind of a lot
of noise,
it makes a big difference.
Speak to people that will recenter you, and that will just be there for you. I think the biggest thing that I learned also is that to ask for help. I struggle with that so much, but I'm so much better now. But the important thing is to ask for help. Don't struggle alone.
And ask early.
It's just ask early, and it's like you realize when you start asking for help, like, why didn't I do this sooner? And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching this long ass video. I hope you resonated with something, and I hope it just like it helped you in some sort of way.
And guys, wait a second, go in head first. We'll see what happens.
What are you talking about?
Like, failure honestly reduces fear.
Go in head that's first. True. It's okay to fail. If you fail, then what?
And I'm telling you, you're already great. You're already great. Go in head first.
You is smart, you is beautiful. Bye guys.
Subscribe.